Hi, everybody. It's Dennis, the active trend trader. Are you one of the traders who has a difficult time finding great growth stocks to trade every weekend? Well, we've got the answer. Welcome to How to Make Money Trading Stocks and Options. We're going to cover three things. Our panel of expert traders has picked out three top shelf growth stocks that are setting up and ready potentially to trade next week. Number two, an analysis of the indexes showing which ones are strongest, which ones are weakest, and what the potential is for a move next week. And then we'll also cover another trading problem or issue that you may be having, and we'll provide an answer to that will help you, one, maximize your profits and minimize your losses. So let's get into today's session right now. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn, the Active Trend Trader. I want to welcome everybody to today's session of how to make money trading stocks and options, plus some trading tips. We are going to do something just a little bit different than what we normally do. I will basically just let you know that kind of run through this really quick, but so that we can also show the there we go. There's what we wanted to show is the disclaimer. One, traders should always pay for trading any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. Past performance is not an indication or a promise of future performance. Anil is in the process of attending a conference, and so he requested that we just jump right into the stock picks for today. And so we're going to do that. And then I will go and I will do the market analysis at the end. And so let's go ahead and let Anil show what cards he's bringing to the table. And he is bringing ON, which is On Semiconductor Corp. So tell us about it.
Yeah, that stock I picked yesterday because it's coming out on top on the Delaware focus list based on the triple screen signal I have. It's pulling back right now.
Okay.
And so I'll pick it up somewhere right here and put a tight stop. Okay. And stop will be around 4% or so that if it comes below the gap, I'm out of it.
Okay. No, I like the presentation. You've got basically earnings were done over here.
Yep.
On the 2nd of August. We gapped up after earnings, and it's so far holding the gap. And let's ask the crew that's on board today. What percentage of stocks what are the percentage of stocks that pull back towards the breakout when you've had a significant breakout like this? You just drop your comment into the chat box. I'd appreciate it. So what percentage of stocks do a pullback towards the breakout area after a significant breakout like this? Okay, Mark says 66%. Who else has got it? 55% Mohammed. Steve, Anil?
I say 75 to 80.
Okay.
I actually don't know.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yes, I'll learn.
And so, anybody else? Ghana, Mark, Mark, you already got yours. SK, Solomon, Victor. Okay. Well, just you make a note to yourself that typically when you get a breakout like this, you get a pullback towards. Now, one of the mistakes people make in interpreting this rule of thumb is that they think it has to make it all the way back to the actual breakout, but it's a pullback towards, and it's somewhere between 65 and 75% of stocks will get some kind of a pullback. So Steve was in there at 75 to 80, Muhammad at 55, Victor, you're a little bit low, Mark Langenbacher's was at 66%. So good show, guys. And so, well, I like it. The other thing I like about this particular entity, I'm going to check it out a little bit closer over the weekend, Anil, is it does have weekly options, which is a very positive thing. Let me make sure that okay, good. Did start the recording. Nothing's more frustrating than getting about 3/4 of the way through the towards our discussions, and I go, oops, I didn't start the recording. So Steve, I like this pattern, buddy. Tell us about it. AMD.
Okay, AMD. It's been in a very long-term weekly trend. Although the last 5 or 6 months, it's been in a sideways action. Okay. It's what Wyckoff would call an accumulation trading range. Okay. And very recently, we broke out, and then we've had a nice pullback just below the 8-period moving average on the daily chart. Okay. Today was a great entry. I hope it's a great entry, which I took today. And with a stop below yesterday's low, a very tight stop. I mean, the momentum coming in, if we break down, you need to get out of the trade and look for a reason.
And so, yeah, I mean, I like this style. I like this trade so much because this is an excellent stock to learn how to trade options on, Steve, I think, in my opinion. And the reason why, one, it has weekly options, two, with lots of open interest, and let me show you what. Let me see if I can show you what. Let's pop this over here, and as you can see, I actually opened a position out about 2 weeks from today, and as you can see, let me get this reset here. There you go. You've got like 2,200 open interest on the at the money, and it's a nickel differential between the bid ask and the nickel to a dime. And then what I did was on this is I basically went and I took the 115 by the 110 and went in and did what they call a debit spread, where I bought the spread with the expectation that by the end of the 27th, I will have run up somewhere between around $8.67, and that'll put me up about $18 to $19 from where it currently is. Not up additional, but it'll be up about $18, and that will be in the money. So I really like that one, Steve. So what? Tell me what's your. So you're buying the stock?
No, I bought options. I bought the September 110, 125 spreads. So
okay, I like it. Yeah.
Risking 5 to make 10.
And so, yeah, this is looking very healthy, folks. What would you, if you're going to, if somebody wanted to say, hey, well, how would I want to trade this to jump in on a stock, Steve? What would you tell them, to go ahead and buy it now?
Today, I would buy it today on today's price action momentum starting to tick back into the chart.
Okay.
I think it's a buy today. You could wait till Monday, but I would buy it today.
Where is your
yesterday's low?
Under yesterday's low, so right there.
Right there. If we don't, because if with this kind of momentum, if we don't hold it, then you want to get out and look to get back in.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've been reading some of Mark Minervini's book on how he defines where he puts his stop losses and things. And yes, he does go down 4, 5, 6%, but he is very fast. As soon as he is up 5%, he basically brings his stop loss, trailing stop, to break even, which is kind of amazing. Now, just be aware that you could actually, from where price is currently at, down to this low right there. How far is that? That is Yeah, that's about a little bit over 5%. So using yesterday's low is a great place to, what do you give it, a nickel on the outside of the low?
Yeah, about a nickel below the low.
Okay, I like it. So a great pick. So Steve and Anil, great picks. Now you get to see mine. And when I was looking at this chart earlier, I was going, this is looking really fine. We'll see if it still looks that way.
Yeah, I've been following this one.
And so
Oh, yeah.
I really like BX. BX stands for Blackstone. It also has, it also has one of my favorite characteristics in that it has weekly options. And so that what happens, reason why I look at things that have weekly options, it can add some additional, for lack of a better term, additional options to your trade if you're buying the stock. And so I really like this in that basically we did a nice tight pullback into this little consolidation area. We're getting a reversal signal today. Now my momentum hasn't totally shifted up here, but it's looking like it's at a level where you would anticipate support, which is somewhere between the 15 down to the 0 line. And if it continue, and again, it is looking very positive. It's closing back above the 50, the 8-day moving average. And I would be a buyer basically right here, if at least a 25% mark. And if I take out the highs here, I would go ahead and add to the position and continue just to ride it on up. What would be my upside projection on this? Well, very simply, I would reverse engineer it. I would go back here, grab my Fibonacci, reverse engineer it back down to from here down to the beginning of the swing there. And then that would give me a trajectory up here to, if I get up to the 1272, that would be 122.64. And then again, the 161 would be up here at the 128. So that's about $14 from where it's at right now. So that's my pick for this week, gentlemen.
Sounds good. I like it. It's one I've been in and out of a lot.
Okay.
Looks good.
Okay.
Looks very good.
So, okay, guys, I'm going to jump over now and just take a real quick look at what's going on with the indexes.
And Dennis, I'm going to drop off here.
Anil, thank you so much, man.
Right.
I appreciate it.
I will also, Dennis, because I got to deal with a phone call that came in when we were talking.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. And so great picks this week. So let's go ahead and, folks, and take a look over here at the S&P. Let's take a look at the spiders. As we see, spiders are continuing to push higher. Push higher, push higher, push higher, push higher. Do we have zero, zip, no reversal, daily reversal candle? We have a little bit of, we have a mixed bag. Compared to the highs here, we're actually setting up new highs on the market forecast, on the TSI. And the market forecast is also showing up some new highs. It is showing a 2-line cluster. How do we want to trade this? Well, like we said last week, what is the levels that are holding strong support? Well, you've got the 50-day moving average, the 34, and the 20. On initial blush, I would look at a pullback into the midsection of the about the 440 level, and I would lay in a and the other thing you want to do is just take a look to the left, and at that 440 level, you're going to be basically seeing, okay, that's a past level of breakout, and it is where at about 441. So I'd say 442, put it in an alert. If it gets down there, that's awesome. Then you can potentially plan a trade around that. The Qs, a little bit different on the Qs today. It is struggling to push through this past high here. As you can see, market forecast and TSI, especially the True Strength Index, the momentum line is just pushing sideways. Now, it doesn't mean that nothing has changed regarding the uptrend, and prices are still pulling back up. As we said last week, I think we identified the 20-day moving average as a potential area to jump onto a trade, and we actually put in some alerts for our autopilot trading system, but it missed filling our positions on TQQQ by about 15 or 20 cents. Now, I don't chase. You guys know I do not chase, and so and that's okay, because we will get another opportunity on that. What about the Russell? The Russell is still or at least was, the weakest link. We are basically struggling. I mean, it is struggling mightily to break out above all this, these moving averages, which is acting as a level of resistance. But as you can see, we're just doing a consolidation thing here. Where might we go from here? A couple of things you can take a look at is go ahead and just throw on a Fibonacci from the high to the last low, and where might it go? Well, the magic fib box that I always like to talk about is the 38. No. Here, we'll grab that right there. You got it? Okay, got it. The 38 down to the 618. So anywhere, and this is a great way to do this, just drawing a little Fibonacci box, and that if prices jump down into that area, start looking for a reversal, with the reversal being a candlestick reversal pattern down in here. But as you can see, all of the moving averages, are not the moving averages, but all the price action in here has been really choppy and whippy. And so what I've been looking at right now is basically, if I drop inside the 38% retracement, I would look for a rebound back up through it. You could utilize the 38 as your trigger to go into a long trade. Same thing, if I drop the 50, look for a reversal back through it. And then where would my stop loss be? Just put your stop loss on the other side of the fib box, because it's still looking very positive to the upside. We know that Russell tends to have stronger performance during the last quarter of the year than the other two indexes, and so it's just a matter of where will we get a good reversal signal, and sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. So we will be keeping our eye peeled for that, and so let's go ahead and back and we'll finish up today's session. Any questions on the indexes? Since Stephen, any stock you want me to take a real quick look at? We need to make okay, here's where we're sitting at about the 13th. We're starting to push back up. Had a very profitable week this week. There's where we sat last week. We're up about 13%. And as you can see, here's where we're sitting, pushing up towards 14%. gaining on the indexes as the indexes have kind of hit a high, and now they're just kind of bouncing around that high. Oh, let me go down here to see. Okay. I will. Ghana, I did. We covered AMD at the very get-go, and but I will do PAWY, Barry, or I just want to make sure that's the right ticker. Oh, okay. ADM. Palo Alto Networks. Okay. I am so glad I'm not the only guy who does that. Hey, as we come back to those stocks, we will come back and review them. But if you're not a autopilot combo trader, you're missing out a lot. You're missing out on basically up to 7 orders that we put on a weekly basis. My son has basically been doing some research on that, and the active trend trading system utilizing autopilot trades in the autopilot combo system is unique in the marketplace out there, and exceptionally well, let's just call it the way it is. It's priced too low. And so going into the new year, we are going to be making some changes on that. So if you want to jump onto the autopilot combo, now's the time to do that, because it's going to be jumping up to only covering what we'll be doing is we'll be covering, it's going to be offered as only a quarterly or a yearly membership. And so again, take advantage of that now. And what do you get? You get things like this. This is basically the 5 stocks that we do. I have 5 different stocks that we do every week, plus 2 of the index and sector ETFs that we want to take a look at. So let us show you how to engage your autopilot. Again, save more with the combo. Let's go ahead and there's the link, activetrendtrading.com/autopilot. And before we call it a day, let's go ahead and take a look at those stocks you had asked for. And Archer Daniel Midland, ADM. I haven't heard that stock for a while. If I can get it. Oh, this is looking pretty nice there. Ghana, what we've got is, okay, yep, looks good. What I would do, of course, is I would want to run over and grab the market forecast, or not the market forecast, but the research from IBD, do the stock checkup, and see how ADM is doing. Excuse me. And as you can see, yeah, composite rating, you really want to have that up there about 80, about the 95 level, but it is number 1 in its group. One of the things that, when you find these that show the composite rating is very low, you're normally, the industry group tends to be in the lower half of the number of industry groups between the 197. As you can see, it's 175. What about accumulation distribution? Let's just run through there. 93 on EPS, that's good. The little guy's smiling. Relative strength, not so hot. Okay on SMR. And what about accumulation distribution? Excellent, good accumulation distribution, which is telling us that somebody's buying this. Now it may be the somebody's buying this, and it may be because it's getting ready to for some sector rotation. I don't know what it is, but just something I always want to take a look at. And so again, looking pretty good here. It also has, it has weekly options, and so that gives you some other opportunities if you are an option trader. But one thing I've been doing is I've been evaluating and studying what's going on in the markets for many, many years. And what I've settled on, I've come back to, is that in reality, the majority of people who really build wealth in the market, they do it by buying stocks and ETFs. They don't really mess that much with options. Why? Because when you introduce options, you introduce variables, Palo Alto networks. And so that's one of the things, again, as I work towards moving, into the new year, which we're already looking at, what's going to be transpiring there, is the higher level of focus on both our ETFs and our stocks. Okay, what's going on with Palo Alto Networks? Palo Alto Networks is, in fact, we've got earnings coming up when? On the 23rd, after the market closes. Prices have fallen now below the 50-day moving average. Oftentimes, when you get a sell-off like this, as you can see, it's above over sell-off, larger days than in the past. Oftentimes, what you're looking for that is just basically a pullback up into the moving averages, and then a sell-off to the downside. Now, the thing that is the fly in the ointment, if you will, is we got moving average. We have earnings coming up here. We do have TSI turning up from the lower level, same as the market forecast. And so in reality, what we could do is just take this and push it on back up. I would look for one of two things for a potential entry. To go long, I'd look for a pullback towards this past level here. If I get up into the moving averages, I will look for a reversal signal to trade to the downside. That's just the way the pattern sets up for this particular type of trade, in that once you drop the 50, well, on larger down days, that is oftentimes a precursor, if you will, to continue to trade down to the downside. If we go back over, let's go back over here a little bit. Yeah, it did a little bit here, but we broke the 50. But as you can see, the ranges here still aren't as large as the sell-off ranges here. So, okay, folks, that basically covers the stocks. Thanks for asking those questions about those. And we'll just basically say, hey, remember 2021, we're looking for consistency and disciplined wealth building. Keep growing your egg. Trade well and prosper. I want to thank Steve and Anil for being with us, even though they had to go on to other things. And for premium members, we will be back at the top of the hour for the final hour. I am so glad I am feeling better. I am definitely on the mend. My wife is feeling well also. And so aloha, trade well and prosper. And remember, start building now. It's never too late to start building wealth, and always make building wealth part of your trading plan. So if you're not a subscriber to us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you'll be reminded of when we post new videos. I hope you had an opportunity to go and look at the video that we did a couple of weeks ago with Bobby and Steve, two really great guys from Long Island, New York, who basically are excellent can slim guys. And so it was really a pleasure to interview them, and that is over on the YouTube channel. So until later, aloha. God bless everybody. Thanks for joining us today.